Hi everyone, Carolyn Russin, professional life coach here. Thank you for joining me today. I know the time's a little different. Normally it's 1 o'clock on Mondays, Eastern. I had something on my schedule I couldn't move, so I had to bump this a little earlier. So if you don't happen to be jumping on live, please feel free to watch on the replay. I always include these in my Facebook group, so you can scroll back and see other ones that have happened because they're always there on replay. Hi, Mary Lou. But wanted to talk to you today about our limiting beliefs. And a lot of women that I talk to, hi Tracy, and I say bring up limiting beliefs, they're like, what's a limiting belief? What does that really mean? I've heard that term, but I don't really know what it means. A limiting belief is anything that you believe, whether or not it's right. It's what you believe, and it's what is stopping us. Hi Terry. It's what's holding us back. And so a lot of beliefs often are, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not well enough, I'm not healthy enough, I'm not lovable enough, I'm too old to start something. When people are thinking of changing careers, it's too late for me to change, no matter what it is you're thinking about changing. Hi Kim. That we get stuck in this, I can't do this because. And for a lot of my clients, I'll say, but why not? Why can't you? And limiting beliefs are so ingrained in us that we don't even stop to question them anymore. It's just, yeah, I can't do that. Yeah, no, it's not going to work. Yeah, no, but why not? Why can't you? And when we kind of use these broad strokes that we can't do this or can't do that, it limits us in thinking outside the box. So here's an example, personal example. Talk about careers. So as many of you know, I used to be in education. I was a teacher, then I was a vice principal. I was 31 years old when I was promoted as VP. And I was bored. I wasn't that happy. And at that time, that's when I was having my kids. And so I took some time off. And I remember when I went to take the time off thinking, okay, you've got 2 degrees behind your name. Surely there's something else that you can do. Hi, Christine. But the limiting beliefs in my mind were so strong that I didn't know what else can I do other than be in education. Like it's not possible. And so I couldn't think outside the box and I got trapped in there. And then the whole idea of once I did start to pivot many years later, many years later, hi Connie, it was then, but am I too old? I was, mid to late 40s when I started thinking of pivoting to where I am now. And it's, how do I change now? Isn't it too late in life to actually completely change careers? And it's funny because our generation is kind of in that in-between stage of, for most of us, our parents, they were in a career and that was their career. They stayed doing that job from beginning to end. Maybe they got promoted along the way, but there weren't major pivots. Now, when we look, if we could look ahead 100 years and look back to our kids and see what their lives are like, I'm sure they will have many pivots because that's becoming more the norm. We're kind of in that, if you want to call it a sandwich generation of, it feels kind of icky because we think we should be in one career and yet we're in these situations where we could pivot and it's hard. It's hard to think, ooh, can we? How do we do that? But I don't want to just emphasize careers alone here because limiting beliefs affect us in every area of our life. Just feeling that we aren't good enough. So, for example, one of the issues that so many women in this group deal with is not being able to prioritize themselves because they don't value their worth. So again, that's a limiting belief. Everybody else is more important than me. I can only do things for me once I've looked after everyone else and I've done everything else. Then I can do what I want to do. And as I work with my clients and they realize that that time is never going to come, there's always going to be something else to do someone else to look after, and they never get to themselves. Hi, Monica. Which is why they struggle, which we all struggle with this, of looking after ourselves, because we're so busy looking after everyone else and looking after everything else. You know, when it comes to a to-do list, I don't know about you, but I could have a to-do list and it never ends because I'm always having to add more stuff to it. So if my thought process is, I can't do anything for me until that list is done, I'm never doing anything for me. Give me a thumbs up if you can relate to this. If it's just like, oh my God, Carolyn, yeah, like, and I'm always bumping myself down to the bottom of that list. Again, that's a limiting belief that I can't prioritize myself until everyone else is looked after. And so it's then, okay, so how do you deal with that? How do you even start to pivot? Hi, Joy. And so one of the things I talk to my clients about are three main questions. Always be asking yourself, and I'm going to share one with you, and I've kind of alluded to it already. Hi, Kira. Is that really true? So when you say, I can't go and sit down and read a book, which would be really nice for me just to take that time, enjoy, because the dishes have to be done. There's laundry to be flipped. I have to go do this with my kid, whatever it is. Well, is that really true? What happens if the dishes stay there in your kitchen for another couple of hours because you're looking after yourself? Maybe you don't have to do everything. Maybe it's time to delegate. Maybe it's time to get your kids on board and give them chores to do so mom isn't doing everything. There are lots of different ways around this. But if we get so stuck in that limiting belief, we don't look outside the box. We cannot see other alternatives. And that's where I talk to women who are like, Carolyn, it's like I'm on the hamster wheel and I can't get off. And it just seems to be getting faster and faster and I can't keep up. And I'm stressed and I'm exhausted. Well, of course you are. Who wouldn't be? But when you're in that frame of mind, it's so tough to see outside the box. It's so tough to see other alternatives as to what you could do to make your life a little easier. One of the ways that my clients are able to deal with this is when we work together, I can help them see the big picture. I talk about when you're so immersed in the weeds, it is really hard to see the big picture. I'm not emotionally involved. I can easily see the big picture. One of the tips I give my clients is when they are feeling so stressed and overwhelmed, and this is something I do, something I personally do. When stuff is going on right now, it's for me personally, and I'm sure a lot of you are dealing with this, is dealing with my parents. Health issues, getting older, what they can handle, what they can't. There's big changes happening, and it's hard. It's hard to deal with. It's hard to manage. It's hard to deal with them not being able to see this, and how do you cope with that, and how do you deal with them? There's a lot of challenges, and it can get very taxing. So what do I do in those situations? Because I get immersed in the weeds. We all do. It's just human nature. It's what happens. But when I start feeling that, when I'm feeling drained, when I'm feeling like, oh my goodness, like how are we going to handle this? It's like, okay, stop. This is what I say to myself. Just stop. You're in the weeds. Okay? It's time to lift yourself up. So it's almost like I'm sitting there and I will close my eyes, and it's like I visualize myself floating up and looking down on the situation. Hi, Maggie. And when you do that, you start to get a different perspective. Okay, just lift yourself up and looking down. Hi, Mary Ellen. Thanks for joining us. And you can start seeing that bigger picture, and that helps. And it just helps slow things down. I take some good deep breaths, and I say to myself, everything's going to be okay. because I know I have enough certainty in my life, excuse me, that no matter what's thrown my way, I know everything's going to be okay. Yeah, we all get dealt with crap. We all have really tough things thrown our way. And trust me, I've dealt with a lot of that. But I know in the end, I'm going to be okay. And so it's having that strength of your thought of, okay, pull yourself up, look over the big situation or the situation, get that bigger picture, and knowing I'm going to be okay, taking some deep breaths. That helps ground me in those kinds of situations. But if you're finding that this is day in and day out and you're in this rut, the same thing over and over again, that's where you're needing help. Okay? We've all needed help at times dealing with different situations. So if that's you and you would like to learn, okay, Carolyn, I'm tired of these limiting beliefs. I don't even know what all my limiting beliefs are, and that's not uncommon. But I'm stuck on this hamster wheel and it's exhausting. And, you know, if I were to ask you, when was the last time you felt true joy? If you are not saying today or yesterday, or at least last week, oh yeah, I had a great time last week, this, and this happened. If it's longer than that, we need to chat. Life is too short. It's way too short. Type me below in the messages. I can easily set up a free call and we can talk about what that could look like and how that could change your life. Because it's important for you to understand what that would look like, what that would feel like, how things could be different for you. Hi, Tanya. So type me below. We can have that conversation. That's quick and easy. And for those of you who've worked with me before, you know there is absolutely no pressure here. So we have a chat and, you know, I can describe to you what that would look like, what that would feel like for you. So the last thing you want to do is spend the rest of your life dealing with these limiting beliefs, especially not being aware of them, because they are holding you back. If you're not experiencing that joy, if you're not able to prioritize yourself, it's because of those limiting beliefs. Let's bring the end to these. It's possible. It is so possible. How would it feel like to have that change now? Just to lift that and dump those, you would feel so lighter and you would be able to move forward in your life, being able to make different choices for yourself and feeling good about it, not feeling guilty. Dump the guilt to the curb. We have carried around guilt way too long, way too long. So if this is you, if you want to learn more, type me below. Absolutely. Send me a DM, however you'd like to contact me, no problem. I hope this has been helpful. If you're watching this on the replay, type replay below. Have a great day, and I will be back my regular time at 1 p.m. next Monday. Take care.